started working on a new patch, and it became complex enough to warrant making an entire piece around it. I've been working on that piece lately and wanted to talk a bit about the algorithms and the sounds behind it. The piece centers around three different parts: a bass, a sustain, and a flourish. Now, flourish is not a technical term, but I think it accurately describes the rush of sound that happens at the start of each phrase. Here's the max code for the flourish and sustain parts. These algorithms are intertwined because the flourish and sustain parts work off of the same notes. These notes are selected very quickly at random from scale degrees 1 through whatever is shown on this dial. In this case, 7, meaning the selection contains notes from 1 octave of the current scale, which for this piece is D major. For the flourish, the velocity of each note, which is basically how loud the note is played, reduces by 1 for each note. By the end of the flourish, the velocity goes to 0, meaning that the note isn't played at all. So the flourish starts loud and diminishes very quickly. Now, I mentioned that the flourish and sustain parts work off of the same notes. They do, but the instruments that play these notes are designed very differently, particularly with the use of the filter envelope in Ableton's sampler instrument. Both instruments are built around the same Rhodes sample, but have different envelopes. The flourish part has a relatively quick attack and a very fast decay, which makes for notes that have strong articulation but short duration. The sustain, on the other hand, has a slower attack and longer decay, which makes for smoother, more legato, sustained notes. While the flourish happens only briefly at the start of each phrase, the sustain creeps in and remains present throughout all 16 beats of each phrase. The bass has a lower and an upper part. The upper part occurs in a higher octave and is raised further by an interval which is chosen randomly. The voices behind the bass are based on the same Rhodes sample as from the flourish and sustain parts. There's also some FM modulation happening in the sampler. The combination gives the sound a lot of brassy character, and the resulting aesthetic is something like a big, lower brass section. So what do you think? I hope these videos are making some sense. I'm trying to keep them short and digestible, and thus not attempting to really teach you how Max works or explain the nitty-gritty details of the algorithms. I just want to convey a general understanding of what's going on in these patches. Anyways, that's it for now. Please feel free to leave a comment if you have any questions or ideas for future videos.